In this video, I'm going to show you where your samples go whenever you use the Akai force to sample. Check it out. What's good? Let's get right into the video. So I have been asked the questions, where are your samples whenever you use the sampler and the force? So the simple answer to that is whenever you record anything into the sampler, it goes into your sample pool. So let me go ahead and get a sample in there, okay? So I've been tweaking this sound here. All right, so say I'm happy with that sound and I want to get it sampled in here. All right, so it doesn't matter what you're sampling. I'm just using this right here because I have it set up. But say you were recording your turntable or you're using, your iPad or your iPod or whatever. It doesn't matter what you're sampling in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and arm it here, play my sound, stop it. So now I have the new sample. So you can see right here it says track. So in order to use this, you need to actually load up a drum program to put the sample onto. I didn't do that because this is just a blank default project. So I can't use that option, but I am going to keep it. Okay, so if you listen to it, this is what it sounds like. All right, I'm just going to keep it. Okay, so I kept it, but where's that sample at? Where does it go? All right, so where does the sample go? It goes into your sample pool. But if you didn't want to take it from the sample pool, say you wanted to actually save this sample for later so you could bring it into other different projects, you can actually save it on its own. So if you push save, it brings up this window, and this right here says sample. So if you press that, you can name it whatever you want. You can see it says new sample, and this is actually going into your internal drive, into the samples. You can pick whatever drive you want. I'm just going to keep it there to keep it simple. I'm going to save that. All right, so now if I push load, okay, I can go to my places. I could do force documents, and then right here it says samples. So boom, right there it says new sample 1. So I could load that. It's going to load into the sample pool. So I'm not going to load it. It's already in there. It's just going to say duplicate or whatever. So let's go back. So if I go back to my menu, sampler, all right, it's not in there. You don't see it, right? But it is there. So let me show you how you can get access to it. So another option, if you come over here, you go to sample edit, you can see your new samples right there. You could trim it, say I wanted to bring that in. You could trim it there, you could process it, you know what I'm saying? And you got your more refined sample. So you can see up here it says sample. This is actually your sample pool. You have access to your sample pool right here. So any of your samples in your projects are going to be able to show up here. Say I wanted to bring that into an audio track, I could do that. So if I go to my matrix, by default, you get an audio track. Let me select that, push clip, create a new clip, and then you could go to regions over here, browse sample. This is going to take you to your sample pool as well. You can see right here, samples. So basically, that's the only sample I have in my sample pool. So I'm going to do it, and there's that sample. So if I launch that, you're going to hear that. All right, and say, for example, if I just wanted to make this a little loop, all right, loop length, 1 bar. I got the sample in there. All right, so what else can you do with this sample? So I can actually add a new track. So you can't see it on the screen, but I'm holding the number 3 here. That's going to bring up this window. Or alternatively, I could go back to my matrix, push add right there, go to drum. All right, so now I have that there. So what I can do is go ahead and go to shift clip, okay, samples right there. All right, so that's going to give you access right here to your sample pool again. You can see right there, new sample. So now, if I go into a note mode on that track, you can't see it, but I'm actually tapping the pad down here and it's triggering that sample. So that's another thing that you could do with your sample. Another thing you could do, I'm gonna add a new track, okay? And then I'm gonna add key group. Now right here, it says sample, new sample. So now I have a key group. All right, so these are just some of the few things that you could do with your sample. So let me show you this one last thing. If you go to save, you could save your project, and that's going to contain the sample. You could save your key group right here. That's going to save the sample too. So if you save the key group, it's going to actually save the key group, and it's going to contain that sample. The same thing over here. If I select my drum track, if I push save, I can save the drum kit. It's going to contain that sample in it. Okay, so these are just different ways that you can actually save your sample. Now say that you just did a massive sample session and you have a bunch of samples in your sound pool. What you could also do is just save your project Okay, so let me show you this. If I go to load, go to force, all right, and then I go to projects right there, open that up, you can see the different projects. If I go ahead and deselect that or uncross that, it's going to open up the project data folder. So if you go into your project data folder, all your samples are right there. So if this was saved onto an SD card, I could take the SD card out of here and I could put it in my computer and then dump all the samples on my computer, or I can access the files in any other project. So for example, I could take this right here, electric house sound effects. Why not? I could load that. Now when I load that, it loads that into the sample pool. So what I can do with that is I could actually add it to this drum track here. All right, so how do you do that? Just make sure that drum track's selected, shift clip, okay. Right there, it already loaded it in there because I had it selected. But I still have access to that other sample. So if I wanted that electro house and I wanted that other sample, so I could change that electro house new sample. All right, so I got them samples layered up right there. See what I'm saying? Anyhow, I know that was a lot of information and there's not a lot of context to it. I'm just trying to share information because somebody had this question. I'm sure other people have this question as well. So in summary, where does your sample go? It goes into your sample pool. How do you gain access to that? You access your samples by going to your sample editor, by going into your drum programs, by going into your clip edit, okay? So you can assign your sample to an audio track, a key group program, or drum track. You can also save the sample individually by pushing save and saving that sample. Anyway, I hope this made sense. If it didn't, just ask in the comments below and I'll try to answer it. I hope that this was helpful. Go ahead, smash the like button if you found value in it. Subscribe for more video content about the Akai Force. My name's Matthew. Continue to create music and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, y'all.